It's an Ezreal mid lane with the actual bringing the AP damage in, so now the damage is well balanced for the Unicorns. Elements, obviously, the third pick in line is Corki. We've talked about it so much, so we don't really have to explain that too much. It's likely that Tabs will pick it up right here. And Elements is a team traditionally like to counter pick 5th pick for Froggen, even sometimes when mid lane is already revealed.
What does Froggen want to run into this Runeglaive? Touching on the Shen and the Corki. If it gets locked in, they will be the most played champions for Visit Chachi and for Tabs. With Nautilus locked in, JWoww's going to run that top as he did yesterday against
That means Rise mid.
Team Rocket, and that does mean Rise mid into the ranged poke from Power of Evil.
And this was a little interesting because they were hovering the Corki and then decided to switch their AD carry to the last place. So I'm like, okay, that's alright. But then I see 2 top laners all of a sudden. Rise and Nautilus. I don't think we've seen much Rise mid. It seems okay if he can get the snare on Ezreal, he can do a whole lot of damage, but I feel later in the game he will just get vastly outranged and Elements will have to find a way to close the gap. Yesterday we saw them have a rough early to mid game because obviously Evelyn's built Warrior first, leaves them very squishy in the game. She's also a secondary engagement, not a primary engagement, so everything rests on JWoww's shoulders to get in there with them Nautilus. Let's see if the Unicorns are ready for that. They're about to round out their composition here. Ooh.
So, Elise is locked in with Alistar as well. So Unicorns of Love have highlighted their bottom lane, Sivir Alistar. We're expecting Shen to go top, and the return of the Spider Lady, Kikis, for his swan song. Going back to a champion that did receive some changes, a little bit of sustain. And the Rats as well. Galio, Elise,
Changing
Twitch.
things up, let's see. It's very hard to spell shield and expunge because obviously it's hard to tell when he's going to use that. That lane Twitch Thresh is really tricky to play against. It actually plays well into Alistar Sivir because Alistar just too short range as a melee range, so that's fine for them. Unicorn's going with that traditional approach to the game where they actually run a very tanky top laner, tanky split push. So to do that a lot. And then yeah, everything's going to rely around these double threat, right? You have the Ezreal and the Sivir. Should be enough damage in the late game should they get there.
Should they get there? Yesterday, Unicorns of Love were able to get to the late game against Copenhagen Wolf. We'll find out in 30 to 45 minutes.
So while the exactly. While the Elise is peculiar, while the Ratatat is peculiar, what strikes me most is this Rise in the mid lane. And perhaps he can get it through the laning phase, perhaps it deals a lot of damage, but I feel like he'll get outranged very significantly so by that Ezreal later in the game.
Kriplo, what I'm learning is we need to basically just keep an eye on these oddball picks. For Unicorns, they're breaking out Runeglaive as well as the jungle Elise.
Now yesterday we saw something from Elements that we've seen before, is their bot lane falling behind. Whether it's to match up and just poor level 1, not poor but greedy level 1 strategy, and then they needed Dexter to fix that. He's the band-aid man. Everybody in Elements occasionally has a boo-boo and then Dexter comes in, puts out the band-aid, and then they stay even in the game. But they rely so hard on him to do so. I would just like to see Elements actually go 50-50 and then allow Dexters to find openings to get them ahead rather than to put them back in even spot. Hopefully this game might be different for Elements.
Oh, they'll definitely be wanting to. Both teams with victories yesterday, both looking for a 2-0 with only 3 weeks worth of games left to play. It's so important. But if there is somebody that'll know the ins and outs of Elise, I think Dexter's going to have pretty good history with Elise.
No, me and Dexter used to actually duo queue a lot with the Thresh Elise lane, and he's a very big fan of Elise as a champion. Sadly, she's just not that good anymore. Looks like Elements are setting up for a Gromp. A potential start here. Let's see if Nif has graduated from Gromp school and is going to play it backwards towards his lane.
We won't find out.
We won't find out. I'm going to find out on my screen. Cheating.
And Kikis is starting on his own Grump. So Grump school, what was the grade from Nif and Tabs?
A+. He flayed back twice, which means a shorter path to his lane. Beautiful. PvE. You can do it. It's completely scripted, so you can maximize those Gromps and Golems to your favor. Looks like Elements get 1 extra creep, I believe. So they should have the advantage more so that they are obviously playing double range into a melee range support there on Hylissang. So what you're going to see is Hylissang is likely going to skill heal level 2. This lane is going to push back eventually. Not much action is going to happen here in the bot lane, I feel.
And of course Hylissang, starting with the coin, not going to get those relic shield stacks. Now, as we mentioned, a long time ago, since these two teams faced off, It was also ranged poke from UOL that helped them scale ahead and win. Cogmore in the middle lane for Power of Evil. This time round, Ezreal in the middle lane. Talking about that middle lane, Power of Evil's trying to deal with Frog and Rise. So we'll have to track how well they can CS and how long it'll take PoE to basically get enabled. Because these Runeglaive builds, I mean, they need 2 full items before they become a true terror.
Yeah, a bit of a stalemate here in the game as we get a pause, so it gives us more time to analyze that early game.
Froggen, please.
We never know who it is. Let's not make any
Come on.
assumptions here.
Statistically speaking, Froggen, Crepo, old CLGU started the trend.
To be fair, it may have been my brother, because every time, this is a story you guys don't really know, the first time my brother actually visited the match was the Season 2 match against World Elite, so this is the first time the guy actually comes to watch League of Legends, no clue what it is. 8-hour pause. So he says, okay, screw this.
Just stop for a second. For those who don't remember, 8-hour pause.
Yeah. That was a long time. So he comes back a year later to ESL Studios somewhere in Cologne. It's like, I'll check out this game again. Another 3-hour pause. So perhaps it wasn't Froggen. Perhaps it wasn't me. Perhaps
Yeah,
it
but
was my
again,
brother.
we swap on. This is the first game you and I are casting, Crepo, of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Froggen, please. Anyways, we are digressing somewhat.
A little bit.
We'll find out from the admins and the QA guys exactly what the reason for the pause is.
Back to the game.
Quick keyboard problem, I'm told, as we get...
There is no such thing as a quick keyboard problem on stage. But yeah, I think this game will pan out just very evenly until the junglers show their face. So there's a good likelihood, given their starting positions, that they will meet up at the Scuttle Crab and fight over who gets that vision dominance. Or if Dexter can actually use his invisibility to sneak in somewhere, and then it's obviously up to Kiki's to read that and counter gank. That is kind of the plan right there. But I don't think too much is going to happen because this lane on bottom is very even. For example, top lane is a bruiser fest. Chen and Nautilus, they can hit each other for days and nobody's going anywhere close to dying. If Rice ends up pushing in the mid lane, perhaps he can get ganked. So that's maybe somewhere where we see Kiki's go, but Dexter can't really find an opening on the Ezreal. So it's a very, very weird game right now, because Dexter, if you put yourself in his shoes, right, that's what these junglers do. Like Dexter obviously is in his shoes himself, and Kikis tries to imagine what Dexter will do. Dexter can't go bot, he can't go mid lane right now, so he actually has to invade and just find Kikis, because Kikis does have ganking opportunities.
I'm not going to see him this time around, Crepo.
No, but he saw that the racer down, and this again gives you information, because he has a good idea of where Kiki started, given that he's Elise, given that his bot lane took golems. He knows the racer down, so he can kind of deduce, given to the states of the lanes as well. I mean, it's unlikely Kiki's going to show top, unlikely that he's going to show mid, given the state of the lane, so he must be hovering around bottom somewhere.
Even Steven start. Small advantage bottom, but the wave is pushing into bottom to his side, and this is obviously due to that melee support.
Now you actually have the part where Alistar has he literally has one shot, one opportunity, because he needs that Q flash to then headbutt somebody backwards, and that's all he has, because you can't use your combo offensively to win trades. It just doesn't work anymore, because there's not enough follow-up burst, and then you really want to space out those abilities, so you want to flash in first. And then we saw that yesterday against the Copenhagen Wolves by the Unicorns, I believe, as well, where they found that one opening on freeze, and that was enough. But if you miss that Q flash, then the next 5 minutes of your lane will be utterly boring farming.
Well, we've got slow farming lanes for the time being. That may be disrupted as Dexter's going to show his face up top. With the amount of CC Nautilus offers, if Chachi can get caught, this could be painful.
JY has to be careful not to give it away. Chachi knows right now.
Yeah. Chachi's going to taunt, get caught by the
Chachi should have flashed.
The Riptide comes out, he flashes below 100, and Dexter gets first blood.
Visit Chachi. That was too obvious. The second Nautilus walks forward, you saw, he spotted, he immediately taunted out. He saw the dredge light come, and he just stayed in position. Then he flashed after. Big mistake from Visit Chachi. Should have survived that easily and just wasted the Elms' time.
And once again, Dexter shows just how impactful he is in the early game. So many times this split, Dexter has shown up in a lane, secured kills, really helped to impact. I mean, 14 games played, 8 of those times, Elements as a team have been able to pick up first blood. We'll need to see whether or not Dexter can use that to snowball. We'll be working towards that Warrior chart you talked about as well.
Yeah, definitely underrated at times. Yeah, that's the weakness of Evelyn sometimes. She can be sneaky, go around in invisibility and find an opening, but she is very squishy in early game. She has a decent amount of damage because she builds Warrior, but she is squishy. Yesterday we saw it too. Froggen around the 50-minute mark, we're sitting on like 1200 HP, Dexter on 1400. If you take one bad fight, people turn it around on you. So you have to be very smart in your approach.
And of course, with the way that you build Rise, since well, 3-4 patches now, he's also relatively squishy. So we're going to be very interested to see how Elements handle the flanking and the team fighting, and whether or not Power of Evil is going to find the poke. JWowl's already started with an early Spirit Visage. I mean, there's going to be a lot of AP damage from Elise.
Yeah, he gets a Spectre's. Yeah, he gets a Spectre's cowl to deal with those Vorpal Blades, and he might actually opt not to finish it and just go straight into a Righteous Glory right after. But he wants that early magic resistance to be able to get the push advantage at least. Because if you play against a Shen, you really want to get him locked on the tower, so at least he loses something when he ulties out. Because if his lane is pushing and he ulties out, he can get back in time with a teleport, just basing where your jungle takes over. But you really want to punish that global. That's definitely something you want to keep in mind when you play against a Shen.
Alright, I want to talk a little bit more about Twitch, because Tabs came into this match with the lowest CS difference at 10 minutes of any AD carry. He's usually down 9 CS at 10 minutes. Now the reason I want to highlight it is he's on a champion that is particularly well known for backing to get that Blade of the Rune King and then starting to roam. How telegraphed is that going to be, and how experienced are you UOL, considering Twitch fell out of the meta?
It is telegraphed if you play against a lot of Twitches, in my opinion. It's the same thing when Evelyn came back on the scene. People just forgot that she was invisible and they forgot how to approach her. You know, you still saw teams ward their river for no reason instead of warding the camps. Same thing with Twitch. You're just not used to playing against a champion anymore, and that is part of his strength. In addition to that, Tabs is actually a good Twitch player, and he's a smart player. Even though he's down a lot of CS, I feel it's a joint effort to get that CS in lane, and honestly speaking, his supports this split haven't been all that stellar. I promise you, was shaky, hit and miss. They've had a couple of games, but also dropped the ball a couple of times. So a bot lane is only as strong as his weakest link, of course.
We'll see whether or not Tabs can make that work. Of course, the Twitch Evelyn flanks, when you combo that with CC from Nautilus and Ryze, they have the makings of a terror roaming squad once they get enabled. But take a look at the CS. Small advantage for Froggen, as we know that Ezreal takes a long time to power up. Small advantage for Chachi, actually, despite giving up a death. JWowl not farming as effectively, and Kickers is hanging out top.
Kickers hanging out, not necessarily for a gank. It may be a counter gank too, because we know Chachi doesn't have his flash anymore. We saw earlier JWowl, trying to bait the aggression, and then Evelyn might be around. He's sitting here for the gank.
Oh.
Tongue goes wide, so that kind of backfires. Froggen's trying to solo blue buff reset, so he's low on mana. So Froggen losing some tempo here. It's gonna take a while.
This is gonna be the most exciting blue buff kill ever. Froggen's autoing. He's autoing again. Niv! He's coming to help. Froggen continues to auto attack, and he gets it.
Nice. Takes the safe route back.
You clap for that blue buff.
Respect for Froggen is not gonna pass by because they don't want to get sniped by a Pepinero right there.
Wow, another dredge line connects. There's no flash for Chachi. Mines go out. The bigger mine follows, and Dexter will hate his spikes into Chachi's behind.
Yeah, 2-0 for Dexter right now. Finds two openings. This is exactly why Kikis was posturing around that lane earlier, because he said maybe Dexter's gonna come back. Dexter with a different timing in mind finds another opening. Yet again, he's deciding the pace of the early game, and I really like the term that Sean's used on the desk. He's the metronome for elements. Sorry, Sean's, but I'm gonna steal that from now on. I mean, borrow.
Borrow, I prefer.
I think it's a fantastic term, and honestly, there's a lot of truth to it.
Seems to be a solid early game strategy for elements. I also like the idea of getting JWowl to be nice and tanky as the primary front line for elements and point and click engage with that ulti. Hylissang knows he's not spotted because he stood on it.
They know he's there, they know he's there. They pinged him out.
Saw him sneak in, so Hylissang's gonna...
So here's my pink ward, guys.
Take it!
I'm not quite sure if you should really knock people into the pink ward. That's what Hylissang wants to do. He wants to get the deep vision out and try and spot Dexter on the camps. Kikis, he may find himself trapped here.
Seems like Unicorns going in one by one into the jungle. Kikis may get punished for this. Look how effective.
They know he's there. They know he's there.
Unicorns are at responding. There's a flash available and a repel. So repel's been used. Cocoon connects. Froggen flashes. Dexter's on a killing spree. Oh,
he wants to get back in time for his farm. Froggen says, okay, we have him 100% secured, but my farm is dying to my tower, guys. I have to teleport back. So he flashes in for the kill. But in the end, Dexter kind of still picked it up, so Froggen expends his flash. Arguable whether it's worth it or not. But yeah, 3-0 for elements in a very weird start, even though the gold is bang on even. Where is that coming from now?
Tower is going to be helping out UOL. They just secured. And also, Crepo, seems like Froggen may have been scrimming Giants this week. teleport in the mid lane, or Charu, depending on if we're going to go history again. 2 teleports for Elements to push down these waves. Dexter with a fantastic early game.
I like the teleport on the Rise because you have to back a couple of times for these key items that you want to get early. You want to get the tier, you want to get the catalyst in place. Very often you get out sustained or out pushed and a little out poked since you're a scaling mid laner. So in that regard I can see the teleport because Rise yields a lot of tempo in the game. And then other teams can capitalize on that by, you know, roaming around about getting towers, getting objectives, but Elements are keeping this game even with the kills. Yet again, this is the story of Dexter right now because he finds these openings continuously, out jungling Kikis right now, and this allows Elements to scale up to that late game where they will have so much damage.
Yeah, leading up to this point, Dexter's already dealt 1,400 damage to champions. Kikis has dealt 200. Admittedly, Dexter's got 3 kills, and Kikis has found a dragon, so you can see how the two styles are beginning to clash. Runeglaive Elise.
Yeah. I'm
going to keep tracking this itemization because it is the first jungle Elise we're seeing in Summer. Runeglaive also completed for PoE. But I'm not really afraid of that Ezreal until that Ludens is purchased.
Yeah, he's still waiting for a spike too in the mid lane, so very passive approach in the mid lane. As expected right now from Power Evil more and more, and you see Unicorns with the traditional rotation to top lane, they take 1 tower, but Elements react, they don't send their bot lane bot again because they know this is coming, so good read from them in terms of the game. So good adaptation right now. They have a freeze on the Shen in the bot lane though, so Elements need to make something happen, use that numbers advantage.
Ardax gets caught out, Spell Shield doesn't accomplish a whole lot on the hunt used, and here comes Hylissang.
Dexter still has his ultimate available.
Flying at a mile a minute. And we also saw some key items picked up across the board, as you mentioned. Tabs with that blade. He's going to be moving to actually find Chachi in the bottom lane. Dexter's caught out. We see one of those little spiderlings dredge line. Agony's Embrace comes out from Dexter, but he is shut down by the spider, sinking the fangs.
It's very hard for Nautilus to connect that dredge line on Elise. Has the safety of the miniature bodyguards right there. Good Shen ulti, but the lane was still frozen in the bot lane, so Elements can capitalize with an extra tower. However, they have to yield their top tower. Just to see if Froggen can get something in the mid lane. While Pepinero was picking up his blue buff, I believe. Yep, he picked himself. Power of Evil.
Close enough. You know what? It's Runeglaive mid.
What's in the name, anyways?
Tabs is going to get the bottom tower. And we did see Unicorns getting their second tower. It's a small gold advantage to the Unicorns. They also have the first dragon. We did see Power of Evil defending the
Sorry, Trev. This is a repeat of what happened yesterday for Elements. Dexter got ahead to a couple of kills. He was involved in 3, and then they overreached a little bit, and they got caught off guard. Luckily for them, it only cost them 1 kill right now, in addition to those 2 towers. Yesterday it was 3 kills in a tower where Rocket shifted the momentum, so... Dexter, he's now biding time. He wants to get tanky because he has the damage secured. The more tanky he gets right now, we'll see, want to hit that sweet spot mid-game with that Evelynn and just find those openings. Flank, he's a secondary engage. You want to lure people into a choke point and then get behind them, pop that Evelynn ulti for the massive shield and just buy enough time for your team to follow up.
And Cherwell actually didn't go for that Righteous Glory first. In fact, finished off Banshee's Veil as his first item. And there is a lot of magic damage from UOL. Single target cocoon, feint.
I'm sure if
until Ezreal starts spamming Mystics, I can kind of see it, but the moment they do start grouping...
In the mid lane, we're looking at a dive here.
Hylissang misses one. Nif lands a death sentence. Hylissang's going to be able to Unbreakable Will. Good flash defensively from Nif.
Yeah, Hylissang tried to taxi himself on Nif there, knock him away, and then get in position to get to Froggen. Good read by Froggen. He steps forward into the danger, so to say, but he jukes that Pulverize, then takes the Lantern. Flash of PoE!
He finds the danger zone! Froggen continues chasing. Dexter's thrown down Agony's Embrace, and Unicorns are able to disengage effectively.
Little trigger happy there on a flash from Froggen. Unicorns were expecting more members of Elements to show up. They're actually kind of frightened there, but yeah, Hylissang.
I was expecting more.
Yeah, I was expecting more. But yeah, three Pulverizes in a row that just didn't quite connect, so not used to seeing that from Hylissang. Usually on point with these abilities, but tier 2 tower bots falling.
Mid tower falling well. Crepo, this sort of strategic rotation game has ended up costing both teams their outer towers for varying reasons. Rather, outer and inner.
I wouldn't call these too many rotations. It just feels like okay, we choose one tower, you guys get another. It's not like they're setting up waves and moving between the lanes. It's kind of just happening, and
Actions and reactions.
they're not choosing to defend certain towers. They're looking for openings. I still want to see Tabs roam though with that Blade of the Ruined King. Just a Twitch popping out of nowhere. That could be quite scary. Elements are okay with this though. They have, I would argue, better late game, especially once Tabs can pop his ulti later in these fights and have this massive range advantage. Obviously, we'll have to be careful. On the Hunt plus Alistar plus Shen. Shut you down rather quickly.
And we have seen how much damage a Runeglaive Ezreal can deal if can make it to the late game. When Pepinera played it against Fnatic, Dexter gets caught by a cocoon, and that reduced cocoon timing means easy escape.
I'm liking the Thresh on Nif. Couple of nice lanterns so far to catch these overextending Elements members back to their support. And this is usually the phase where the game goes a little stale, goes a little slower. Tier 1 towers have fallen. You actually need rotations right now to open up Tier 2 towers if you really want to. And these are teams that are traditionally fine with just farming it out too.
Crepo, the one thing that Elements has done in the past, and we'll get to that, look at the positioning from Dexter. Teleport comes out in the middle lane. That's going to be from Froggen coming up top. The box is down. Rat-a-tat-tat. Unicorns go splat. Power of Evil's retreating. Vardex is going to flash over the wall, and Chachi will at least get a reply kill. Top laner on top laner action. Dexter, Froggen, Nif, they will find Chachi in a 2-for-1.
And a good fight by Dexter there, and he managed to survive long enough. He did exactly what he needed to do. Draw aggro, survive, use that shield. Keep members busy hitting him, then flash out immediately. Don't give the kill over. Tabs with good damage, Froggen untouched, so they force Unicorn's carries to flash out defensively here. With dash out, PoE and Vardex both had to split, and that left Chachi alone and exposed. So good opening by Elements. They punished the tier 1 tower push in the mid lane. Yourself take one more dragon here.
Dragon goes down. True shot barrage just to help a little. Despite full vision from the ward. Evens out the dragons 1-1. So there's
just keep your eyes on Dexter right here. See how many people he actually connects with the ulti. Goes out. Doesn't actually use his ulti, it seems. There he goes. He goes back in again for the return. But yeah, he buys some time. He wants people to chase him. Flashes out. Survives long enough. Good positioning from him here. For some defensive use of the carries. Nobody wants to get group ultied by the Evelynn. That's why people jump out. They get afraid. They didn't expect him. So we'll need to see the Unicorns place more pink wards. Because you can't afford to be surprised on your flanks when you're pushing and when you're sieging. That's simply, it's too easy to let that happen. Just ward your sides, double pink ward on each side so you know where Evelynn's not coming from. And then you can at least expect if she's way behind you or way in front of you, and then it makes the game a lot easier.
4 out of the 5 Unicorns have pink wards in their inventories. We need to keep track of how many times they can continue to do that.
Definitely so. And the one thing though that worries me for Elements' sake is their siege. Twitch is one of the lowest range AD carries base. Of course, he can pop his ultimate to get the tower down, and that's what we see often when teams with Twitch get a lead, but not big enough to just dive to win a fight. So they just pop the ulti on a tower, just take it down, and then reset the fight. So to see if Elements actually learn how to close, because traditionally speaking, that has been an issue of them.
The Unicorns, they're playing actually what I would consider their de facto, a scaling poke mid. Look at this, Elements pushing out the top wave.
They're grouping as 5 with poor siege. Not quite the decision I had in mind for Elements. At the same time, they need to be able to beat Chachi in a split push too. Both are getting incredibly tanky, but Chachi has that Sunfire to his advantage for the push.
Something we also have to highlight is that Unicorns have slightly to significantly better wave clear than Elements. Because Rise short range, Twitch short range unless he pops his ulti. Even Nautilus, despite having some AoE, it's risky wave clear.
Oh, yeah, definitely so, definitely so. Elements have lack of wave clear, so they're bad against siege in that regard. However, they have good fight. You know, if people siege on Elements, they just want to immediately fight. They want to send in the Nautilus ulti, they want to get Dexter flanking, flash snare, ulti from Tabs. It's fine if people siege into you when you're playing Twitch, because then you can line them up and shoot them down. But sieging yourself, you don't have the cooldowns to do that. So you can't force a fight under the enemy's tower. You want to whittle that tower down over and over. Against Ezreal with AoE clear. Against an on the hunt or just boomerangs from Sivir, it's incredibly hard. So you need to introduce a split push component in your strategy, or force people away and then bait them into neutral objectives. The likes of Baron, Dragon, maybe a couple of buffs here and there.
I like the idea of split push Nautilus. We can try to dig a grave for the Unicorns. We're 21 minutes into the game. 5 kills to 2. Gonna call it even gold. Despite the fact Unicorns have an additional tower, it's not really equating to a very big lead.
Unicorn's still in control of the map right now because they have, again, the push, the siege advantage, and Elements, they look a little lost. They don't know what to do. They're afraid to send somebody all the way to the bot lane because it's too far away of the action. They can't really send Froggen. They should send JWoww. Hopefully he starts moving there now.
And I feel like that's a slow push towards Elements as well.
Yeah, that's stacking up. That's stacking up towards Elements.
2 teleports on the sides of Elements, so they've got that split push power from multiple champions if Froggen wants to do it. It's going to be, in my opinion, maybe more effective than JWoww. Frozen Heart picked up, Banshee's Veil for Dexter.
Froggen.
So Ludens as well, so big item spikes is the TLD.
Yeah, Froggen does like doing that split push on his mid lane, so in that sense, teleport is an additional benefit for the Elements lineup. However, he's very exposed, so if somebody shows up, they have no vision in that bottom side. Look at the wards. For Froggen to do that, they need to move there as a team once, put up the wards, let the lane push back, and then let him split push. He's just so afraid of getting caught out. Ryze, incredibly low mobility, especially the Wraith War here.
Well, we can see Power of Evil Smite, not as timed as Dexter. We expect that from a jungler. JWoww's going to get taunted up. And
Lantern expires, actually.
Will time out the Lantern. JWoww's still super tanky. Going to dredge line to the wall. Kikis and Chachi continue to chase. Aggressive repel. Flash, Cocoon still connects. Chachi should have taunt available. Dredge line comes up. True Shot Barrage connects. And the longest chase through the jungle occurs. JWoww gets out.
Horribly long chase with very inefficient weapons. Froggen's finally down to the bot lane. This leaves the mid lane exposed. Dexter's prime position for a flank already. Let's see pink wards, Unicorns. Where are your pink wards? It's too late. Dexter trapping them in his web, unlike Kikis.
Teleporters available, Agony's Embraces come out, Dexter starting to peel back for defense. Nif is the first victim, but here comes Froggen! He's running in! Vardax has flashed away, Stand United gets interrupted by the dredge line. Vardax gets knocked up and Froggen still trying to find a target. Nif, the only casualty thus far.
Froggen should have TP'd sooner, or Unicorns, or Elements should have waited a little longer with sending Dexter in, because I think it was the right play, the right idea, but just executed ever so slightly wrong, and Nif kind of drops. I feel he could have held his flash too. He wanted to be very eager, go for the flash play, but ended up just exposing him very hard. Almost could have took that fight a little slower, I feel. But very understandable that they did what they did, because they caught the Unicorns between a rock and a hard place, but they just managed to get out. That Shen shield came in handy. Let's watch that again. Look at the right, the teleport's going to come in from Froggen, but it takes 5 seconds to land, so 1, 2, but Dexter's already in, and keep your eyes on Nif. Half HP flashes in. Doesn't really accomplish anything. Puts himself in harm's way. PoE gets a free shot at him. Right now Dexter's chasing out, still half HP, so I really feel Nif was trigger happy on that flash there. And then Chachi flashes out, very close. But good flying by Dexter. He's reading the game very well right now, because he's constantly in position of those flanks when he needs to be. It's not like magically Unicorns are sieging and then Dexter's walking around. He's already aware of what's going on.
No box of
no ulti, no ulti.
Hylissang's caught out, Hylissang's down.
This is something for the mindset of Alistar players, which is very hard to capture, because you're so used to having Unbreakable Will up every time. When you come out right after a fight, it's obviously still down, especially earlier in the game. And you play as if you have it, but good players will track that cooldown and say, okay, well, you don't have ulti, you're just straight up dead here.
And he was. Dragon number 2, secured for Elements.
Tabs is scaling up with the Yomos too.
I mean, it's more power. Froggen's got that Seraph's completed. There's another BF sword for Power of Evil. Tabs has had pretty good rat-a-tat-tats in those team fights in the mid lane.
Yeah, we're looking at a ticking time bomb as this front line gets beefier and beefier for Elements. JWoww building pure tank disruption. And Dexter, in addition to that warrior, he's still a threat to the back line, but he's getting tankier right now. He can itemize to be some MR to survive in these fights, because obviously very heavy magic damage. Just a sliver of AD there. It's going to get rough for these Unicorns, because time is definitely in Elements' favor. However, they will need a Baron to close. Their siege is rather abysmal.
Well, if Elements can find the team fight, use that neutral objective that you talked about a little while ago, they can just peel maybe and look for Unicorns. I like the fact that Kikis has picked up the locket. Probably my favorite item in the whole game. And it is after the Rune Glaive, so a little bit of team tankiness, utility.
And finally, teams are starting to build magic resistance against magic resistance poke. It took them a very long time to do so. Aegis on the side of Nif, which means he should actually stay back more in these fights, just keep that aura up for his teammates, and then it allows your front line to build very greedy, very selfishly. because both Banshees are picked up by the front line from Elements, so they can stay alive long. Nif has the aura for them too in the middle of that, and this protects your damage dealers, your Twitch and your Rise.
But we are cresting ourselves towards the late game. 27 minutes in, there's only 3 dragons secured. Inner turret was sieged up a few minutes ago by UOL. You can see the teleport still not available for either JWoww or Froggen. If Unicorns commit, they're in trouble. JWoww is going to find at least 3 Unicorns in front, and Chachi split pushing down bottom. Sun's going to get caught out. Death Sentence connects. Stand United's already being channeled. That was a good true shot barrage and a 2-man taunt. Tabs is rat-a-tat-tatting on the sides. Contaminate will find Kikis and Vardags. That's another kill for Elements. We see Chachi doing the best he can. We finally see Tabs dropping. A messy fight ends a 4 for 3.
This obviously started very well for Elements because Unicorns were obligated to use their defensive Shen ulti on Unbreakable Will Alistar. Bit of miscommunication there, and Elements, the man of the fight was Tabs, and he's doing what he couldn't do before in season. He's gonna flash aggressively, just keep your eyes on him. JWoww eventually goes low. Dexter and JWoww so far have 100% kill participation. They're driving these fights. Healer Sign gets a Shen ulti, combo goes wide, double tom, but Froggen survives. But look at Tabs, he's untouched right now. Froggen has his shield, so nobody can close out the game on him. He's full HP, so Tabs flashes in because he knows if he takes down some people here, he will win the fight for his team. Eventually Elements can clean up, and beautiful aggressive flash here from Tabs. Unluckily for Elements, JWoww goes down in the back, but Froggen, he was the one aggressive up on its start. He survived that fight. This is looking grim for the Unicorns because the counter engage from Elements is getting bigger and bigger. And they have to, Unicorns have to take down this Rise, who's very beefy and very tanky, or they need to get the Twitch, and Tabs so far has shown very good positioning and then turns the switch aggressive wide, so definitely good play by Elements.
Even up that gold. Continue to find the flanks. Baron has finally been pink warded. Couple of wards in and around the objective, so both of these teams could start playing out and feel a little more important for Elements though.
At the start of the split, when JWoww came in, he was a bit of a question mark, and people were honestly critiquing his play. Right now, him combined with Dexter are involved in every kill so far. 10 assists on this tanky nuisance Nautilus, so it's working for Elements. And Dexter, the metronome of Elements, like Sean said, 4-1 and 6, gets early openings, and on these team fights, managed to hit everybody while still barely dying. So good frontline play by him, allowing his carries to carry. Nif
Taunted, Cocoon, Vardags throws out the boomerang! But it's a true shot barrage that gets a kill.
You should always throw your lantern first when you face check that. It's a big mistake by Nif again. But obviously you need your help from your team to face check too. Now Froggen's teleporting.
Can Tabs line up the ultimate on the Hunter's throne? Unicorns have peeled away. That's a torch flash. 5 versus 4. Tabs is knocked up and taken out by Kikis. Without the damage, what can Elements do? JWoww and Froggen trying to throw them out. Froggen chucking out those Qs, those orbs. It's simply not enough. Power of Evil. Arcane shifts forward. Hellisung finds a knockup. Kikis lands a Cocoon. Froggen goes down. It's Vardags that gets a kill.
Zero hesitation on the side of the Unicorns. Clean up that fight so quickly. Elements needed a lantern to reposition their carries, but the lantern was in the grave with Nif. Good ulti from JWoww though. Depth's charge knocked up 3 people. Ball enough time. I felt like Elements could win this. As we see Dexter playing solid Snake right here. Gonna watch this for a while.
Baron, 3,000, 2,000. Will it be spiked? Unicorns have multiple spikes. Dexter's going in. Teleport's coming in as well. Vardags is focused down. Baron's going low. JWoww wants to disrupt. Power of Evil will secure with the Rude Glaive Ezreal. Now JWoww and Nif are in trouble. They found Vardags before losing Nif again. JWoww should be able to pull himself to safety.
Yeah, this all goes back to Froggen being on the bot lane and Elements losing vision control around Baron. Their lineup just isn't built for face checking, it's for setting up these fights. We can watch it again what happens right now, but this is already the culmination of poor play. They should never get into this position where they have to face check 4 against 5. They find Tabs, the one target they need to find, combo after the taunt, and Tabs' flash was still down from that previous fight. So Elements, they need to know that they can't play like this. You can't play against a Sivir composition with your mid laner on the bot lane because you need to move around as a pack to maintain that vision until your AD carry gets flash up. And Hillside with the flash combo. Honestly, pretty hard to do. You screw it up, you look absolutely stupid. Yeah, good play. Unicorns tie up the game. 5,000 gold in the lead right now. poor map play from Elements got them into the position, and no amount of outplays will save you, because Tabs, it's so hard to dodge that hard engage with Sivir ulti.
Elements did get Dragon while we were watching the replay. Small consolation prize. And if Unicorns are pushing in one lane, it'll give some flanking opportunities to Dexter. But now Elements are 6,000 gold down. And Elements have to deal with a very scary Ezreal, as well as this Sivir that now has Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper, and IH. Again, a lot of damage to deal with. Elements out of position. Trouble. Take a look in the jungle. We may see another fight happening. Overload's coming out for Frog, and 4 members of Elements stacked high. They're waiting for Dexter to come in for the re-engage. Contaminate's available. We'll need to see if Tabs can get the connection. Dredgeline finds Chachi. We do see a taunt coming back, and the kill is secured by Power of Evil. A multi-man knockup before Hilisan gets killed. Elements find themselves a 3-for-1.
Pretty comical fight overall. We saw Dexter approach the Brumbleback pit. Wait, Tabs?
It's not over yet. Power of Evil's going in. Power of Evil's going to kill Tabs.
Yeah, Unicorns kept tabs on Tabs and found him even though he was invisible. But Dexter walked into that pit thinking he had flash, then had to walk all the way around. Then the Unicorns get baited in by their own aggression, really. They got that combo. Let's watch that again here. How it all started. Froggen flashed there aggressively. Oh, PoE finishes just in time. Gets saved actually, put back in good position here. So good start from Elements overall. Hook kind of goes wide from Nif. Good depth charge again. Now they're on the run. So eventually, look at Dexter, he's in the pit. Then he realizes, I don't have flash this path all the way around. Kashi gets pulled in. Taunts, good taunt, but this is where the Unicorns just have to disengage. Twitch is still full HP. Even if you man a 3-man combo, yes, you have that proc from the Lunas, but it's not enough. You need your front line alive for this. And a little bit of greed here. Let's see if it's a reaction or prediction.
Into the pink ward.
Yeah, it's the pink ward.
So, you asked where the pink wards were.
That's where they were.
Found one.
Got him, boys. But yeah, good fight by Elements right there. I feel you can critique a couple of hooks from Nif, but other than that, good aggression and good pacing and good peeling from JWoww. Overall, he's doing his job on this top lane Nautilus. It's very hard to get through him. Because you can't really ignore him, because he puts himself in the middle of your team, presses Riptide, depth charge, you're going for a pick.
Dexter's in trouble. Take a look at the mini-map. You can see the pink wards littered on the top half.
They're learning. The Unicorns are adapting to the game right now. They figured out what's going on. They said, okay, Dexter, fool me once, twice, or thrice, but eventually we will catch on that you're playing flanking champion on Evelynn. Now they can use their superior siege to combat the very poor wave clear. Elements stuck.
The rock in the hard place is now caught. Elements, they will wave clear. Not before losing 50% of the tower. Hilisan gets caught and decent damage from Froggen.
This is not the first time. This is not the first time Elements is playing a composition with very low wave clear. It comes to bite them in the ass.
Hook City, nothing connects. It's 35 minutes on the hunt as well as the coin. JWoww is already down. There's minions on the inhibitor turret down bottom. And Tabs is looking to get through the gate. Kickers gets hooked. Snipe! Mystic shot snipes Tabs down. True shot barrage flies across the Elements roster, and Unicorns of Love look for one more. A little bit of a whoopsie from Hilisan. But they get the tower, they get the inhibitor, and they can go bottom for more.
Little bit of oopsie, yeah. Hook City, population 0, sadly enough for Elements. And yeah, they're playing double flank, but Hilisan is very aware of his surroundings. Every time somebody pops up in his shadows, whether it's Evelynn or Twitch, he seems to be ready for it. Either he knocks them back, or he combos the pulverized knockup with the headbutt. He fails once after flash, but I said this before, it's very tricky to do that. Especially because, at least if you fail, you knock him away. But PoE, and a bout with Froggen.
That was, well, teleport, I guess. Half the cooldown.
Yeah, but Froggen used his too. And even if he got that kill, they couldn't really tie it into an objective. I feel it's very greedy to go for that kill when Dragon is 130 away, Baron is 140 away. It's a bit of a waste. Because now, Froggen is no longer a resource available for split push. Because he has to stay with the team, because he simply can't path backward, back in place, in time.
For 35 minutes, Unicorns of Love have cracked open Elements base. 10,000 gold in the advantage. They're still down on Dragons, but that does not matter. And you can push an exposed inhibitor down bottom as well, and just try to time it with those supers up top. The only thing is, All of the vision is invested in the top half of the map, so a little bit of planning, a little bit of wards need to get put down to make sure Unicorns don't get caught out from behind.
The key things to watch for this matchup right now is Dexter, and if he's spotted somewhere, and then the flashes for Froggen and Tabs. To see if they can find one of those carries. Remember, Unicorns are only playing double threat. At least he's built tank. After that, wave. Dexter, he just wants to pass himself into a position where Unicorns don't expect him. Here we go.
So we see the big mine coming out. It's following Power of Evil. True Shot Barrage connects with 2, but Froggen is still
Push
there.
mid, rotate.
Vardex has been able to peel back with elements. Gonna decide to recall. Don't want to get themselves in a base race scenario with supers on their Nexus turret up top shortly.
I feel if Elements didn't go for the engage and sent one mid, they could have just rotated the Unicorns completely. But because his top tower is down, obviously Unicorn's gonna react and push down an inhibitor. Look at the top wave as well, massive. Froggen flashes.
Flash forward, the taunt does not connect. Dexter is just going for the full frontal. Tabs has been dropped. His flank simply failed. Stands United onto Kickers. Let's see if Chachi can find a secondary taunt. That's it, taunt into flash onto Froggen. Hylissang knocks up 2. Dexter's dropped as the follow-up. Unicorns of Love continue to push down this fight. Vardex is peeled away. Another taunt from Chachi. This fight is going on forever. Unicorns have secured a Nexus turret with the help of their Winions, and the Unicorns will be looking to take the game from Elements.